I'm Dana Austin, and this is Next Level Awareness.
Hey, everybody, I'm Dana Austin, and you're listening to the Next Level Awareness podcast, where we have conversations about a wide variety of topics in order to pass on knowledge to others that will hopefully expand your mind into areas that maybe you didn't even know existed before. Today, I'm talking to Amy Van Dyke, owner of Best Friends Barkery in Gilbert, Arizona. They make all kinds of dog treats that are probably so much better for you or your dog than the processed stuff that you get at the store. Welcome, Amy. Tell me a little bit about Best Friends Barkery and how you got started.
Thanks, Dana. I've been making dog treats for probably 20 years. And I only did it for personal reasons for my dogs because it was better than the treats that you can typically buy in the stores. And I made them with less ingredients, and it was all items that you have in your own pantry. Um, I would make so many, I would give them to friends. And uh, I've had a few friends say, you should start a business. And I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. That's too much work. Um, and then one day I thought, why not? So I was kind of half thinking of doing it, didn't have a plan. And on Facebook, there was an event that somebody was putting together for her clients, and it was dog friendly, and it lit a fire. And I thought, I don't have any plan in place, but I want to try this. So it made me start. I called the woman. I said, I don't have a business name. I don't have a logo. I don't have anything. And she's like, let's do this. And so that's how it all started. So I quickly got a name. I did a logo, took care of some other things in order to start a business, and had a great time at the event. And from that point, when I was making one flavor that I made the whole time for my dogs, I started doing different flavors. And then there was a farmer's market that came up. So I did that. And I realized how much fun it was to do these events. I met lots of people, and sometimes they bring their dogs so they can sample the treat. Um, and I got some regular customers from that. And I've gotten a lot of referrals, which are the best customers in any business, I think. Um, and it's just grown so much. So then I added to the menu and I started doing toppers. I now have baked items like Pup Tarts and Woofles and doggy donuts. And we have little peanut butter candy bars that are breakaway like little Kit Kats. Um, and we're always trying new things. We do have some dogs who have dietary requirements or health requirements where they can't have chicken or any type of flour. And so we work around that, and we've come up with some new items for them so they can enjoy their treats too.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, so there's definitely things that, and you probably have done all the research on this. I know I have a dog, so I've done some research. And there's definitely stuff that dogs shouldn't have. So
Right.
obviously you probably don't include that stuff, but what are some of the things that you find that dogs just absolutely love? Like, what are some of your best selling treats?
All dogs seem to love peanut butter. Um, Almost all dogs. And I started branching out. I also do dehydrated treats. One of the top sellers is a dehydrated beef liver, and I get that from a butcher shop in Mesa. And so it's human grade food, and I dehydrate it into jerky sticks, and dogs love it. And it's got kind of a stronger smell, which humans might not like, but it makes dogs go crazy. My dogs will sit outside the dehydrator waiting for it to finish.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah, it's kind of stinky, but a kind of stinky that dogs like. And I also do a dehydrated chicken, which is a big seller. One of the surprising things that I use for treats, and I'm branching out more with different combinations, is sweet potatoes. And I started that because of a dog with dietary requirements, and I test everything on my dogs. Mine loved it. So I'm making more and more sweet potato treats, and that's so good for dogs. It's got fiber and vitamin A and vitamin B12. So it's good for them. It's good for people. I only use things that I know are good for dogs. If somebody asks for a recipe with an ingredient that I haven't used before and I'm not sure about, I always check into that first. I don't want anybody's dog to ever have a reaction or get sick because of something that they ate.
Yeah. Yeah. I see, I grew up and I would see some dog owners, they just let their dogs eat whatever was on their plate, and
Right.
I know that there's like onions, I think, aren't onions really bad for dogs? And
Onions are bad for dogs. Garlic is bad for dogs. Um, Grapes are
I've heard grapes are really bad for
toxic.
dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are
So
toxic. But I've had people ask, there was something somebody asked about, oh, it's coconut. They wanted to add coconut to a treat. I had no idea, and I'd never heard of that in a dog treat before. So I researched it, and it turns out it was fine. I didn't use the sweetened. I used organic that was unsweetened, and that was fine in small doses.
yeah,
And
that's
again, they're treats, so they shouldn't be eating the whole bag in one sitting.
right. I'll bet I'll bet if they get a hold of it, they'll eat the whole bag.
Yes, the treats
um,
and the bag.
right, right. So how did you come up with your I noticed your packaging, it's really cute. How
Thank you.
did you go through like a process of like, using certain ones and then finding what really works?
Yes, I did. I started out with, I look at the progress in my pictures and I thought, oh gosh, that was terrible. And I started out with little cellophane bags, clear cellophane bags that you would get at a party for like a goodie bag to take home. And they served a purpose and they were great. And I was new and I was just starting and it was all fine. So I started out with that. I really started thinking I needed to upgrade a bit. And then I went to the craft paper bags, those brown bags with a window on them, and they worked great. I used those for quite a while and I liked them, but I wanted something different, something a little prettier and better looking. And so I found the white Mylar bags with the window, and part of my logo is white and pink and blue. So it's lighter colors. So it just works better for me. And I have a couple clients where their dogs tell me that they recognize, or they told me that their dogs recognize the bag. So I said, I can't ever change my packaging now.
I bet. And it looks like, do they have the zipper on it so it like zip locks closed so it keeps your stuff fresher? I mean,
Yes, they do. That keeps them fresher. And I also dehydrate the treats. So they're not soft. They're a little bit crunchier. It'll pull the moisture out. And when you pull the moisture out, they last longer. So
oh,
the dried treats last about 6 months. They will last longer. I just found some in my event area that were from Halloween, and they were still good. But after 6 months, I wouldn't recommend using them.
yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure if most most pet owners probably don't like their treats last that long because
No,
it's
I
yeah.
know mine never do.
Well, they it's a daily thing, right? Multiple
Yes.
times.
Yes, I have my dog who does taste testing for me, and then I have two foster dogs. So I put them all to work, but they were all getting a little chunky. So we break our treats up into smaller pieces now, just so nobody gets too fat.
I saw a video where you were giving them like cake pops or something.
Yes, I do cake pops too.
That's
Mhm.
so cool. Like, so what's in a cake pop?
So we have a couple different flavors. We have no bake, which is oats and pumpkin, cinnamon, and gosh, what else is in there? Oats, pumpkin, cinnamon, and there's an egg in there and applesauce. And it's just a no bake. You roll it out into a pop. You can make it small for little dogs or bigger for big dogs.
Uh-huh.
And I like to use an edible stick so you don't have to wrestle the stick away from the dog or worry about it choking. So
Yeah.
on those, I use a piece of liver, a thin piece of liver that's dehydrated so they can eat the stick.
I bet that's fun. Then it's like it really is a little treat for them because you got a little bit of like the beef jerky type thing, right? So they get
And then I also do some that are, I do a peanut butter and bacon, and then I also do a blueberry bacon.
oh,
And we do a larger cake pop for big dogs, and then we do a smaller for small dogs, and all of our sticks are edible. It
cool.
eliminates any risk of a dog eating a stick.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because they dogs tend to just eat anything that comes into their
Right?
mouth, right? So definitely something good to think about. So you do a lot of it looks like you do a lot of farmers markets.
I do farmers markets and pop-up events. And they're all really good for meeting new people. And I not only have I gotten business from them and evolved with my business, but I've met a lot of good people and friends, and you learn from each other and support each other. And it's nice to support the small businesses. The farmers market is great. There's one, the one I do is out in Santan, and it's year round, but I don't do the summertime because it's so hot and my treats don't do well in the heat like that. Neither do I. So I I usually skip the summer. But that one is nice because it's outdoors and people come and they bring their dogs and they'll walk around and shop. And we have a lot of regulars who come there, which is really, really nice.
That's really cool. Where's that one at?
That is at Ironwood and Ocotillo.
Okay. Okay. I think it's actually right by my house.
Okay.
I don't get out much at that time of day on the weekends, so it's probably why I've never really
early.
been there. But I see all the different farmers markets around, and I probably should go more often.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I usually think about it when it's summertime, and then it's too hot. I don't
It's
really
too
want to
hot
go.
here for that. I'll go to pick up produce. I buy my sweet potatoes from them, and I usually buy extras because they're such a big hit and they have a longer shelf life, so I don't have to use them all up right away. And it's nice to support them, and I get to go out and see the small businesses that are there that brave the summer heat.
Right. That's cool. I should really try to get out there for that. My daughter would probably love it. So,
Yes.
um, so do you have an actual storefront location, or do you pretty much just cook all the stuff at home?
For now, I'm doing it at home. I'm looking into the idea of renting a commercial kitchen just because I can get a lot more done in a shorter amount of time. And I feel like I'm always cleaning my kitchen. It's always in a constant state of disarray.
Yeah.
So I am looking into that. When I started out, I wanted a storefront, but I don't know. Maybe one day, but for now, I like the way it's working. I do have my treats in a few businesses in the area, and I'm working on marketing um, to more physical locations.
Okay, that's cool. So people can stop into a few places and pick them up. What are the places that
Yes.
you have them currently?
So right now in Mesa, I have Bonnie and Clyde's hair salon,
Okay.
and they were my very first physical location. So they are near and dear to my heart. Care of the Dog Grooming, which is also in Mesa. And then my treats are at Camp Bow Wow Dobson Ranch and Camp Bow Wow in Phoenix on Indian School.
Okay. That's
And
awesome.
Camp Bow Wow is going to be doing cake pops. That's how we started the cake pops for the birthday campers.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I just have one dog, so I'm not really familiar with all of the different all of the different places. I'm kind of a homebody too, so she just gets to stay home with me all the time.
She's
Um,
lucky.
yeah, yeah. So, so how did you get into fostering dogs? You said you have two foster dogs?
I do. I fostered before, and I did have a dog who was not crazy about other dogs. She was okay, but very selective. And then after I lost her, my dog was not doing great. So I was looking desperately for a foster. I didn't know what to do for him. And everything I did, we'd go to Home Depot, we'd go to the dog park, we'd go places there were people. I took him to visit my friends in Las Vegas, and we went to outdoor restaurants, and he just was so sad. So I thought, I'm going to foster. And so I started fostering one dog, and it was his best friend, and she got adopted within a month. So the next day after she went to her new home, I had a new foster, and I've been doing it with this rescue for about 2.5 years, and I love them. And we pull some dogs from the E-list where they would have been euthanized. Actually, both the dogs I have in my home were scheduled to be euthanized, and because of the rescue now, they are looking for their forever home, and I'm their home until they find their forever home.
Oh, that's nice. That's
And I
awesome.
love it. I can give back, and it's helping another dog. And some people say they can't do it because they could never give the dog up, and some people don't give the dog up. They keep the dog, and they give it a forever home. But I look at it as I'm a stepping stone to their forever home, and I can help another dog
Yeah.
after they go to their home. And I always make friends with my adopters.
Yeah,
So we
well,
can keep in touch.
I think it's a lot like adopted kids, you know, I mean, sometimes it's just not the right fit. The family who,
Right.
you know, has them in the first place is just not the right fit. And rather than having them be euthanized, you know, they might find a better home. So, you
Absolutely.
know, I think
And
we
my
all
dog
deserve a
loves
chance.
having them. He's happy with another dog in the home. And I wasn't ready to adopt. So this was the best option for me. And we've been going at it now for a couple years.
That's really cool. So what's the next step, do you think, in your business? You said you were looking at maybe doing a commercial kitchen. Are you looking at like maybe just doing, I know some people will do off hours, so where they just run a kitchen when that place is closed and they'll work in the off hours. So that's just more economical. Is that something that you're looking at doing, or just
I would love to do that. And I know there's a dog treat business in California that was doing that. And it's a great match because you have everything you need right there. And then you're just there when they're not using the kitchen. If I can find something like that, that would be ideal. If not, there are several commercial kitchens in the area where you can rent. I believe it's hourly or daily. And that's nice because you can get so much more done in one session as opposed to at home where I can only fit so much into my oven.
so your oven is your dehydrator, is that it? Or do you have like
I have dehydrators.
okay, so you have multiple dehydrators and then you use your oven for just like some of the baked stuff, or
Yep, everything is
okay.
baked in the oven, and then after it's baked and it cools down, it goes into the dehydrator until it seems the moisture is all out, and then they cool and then they're packaged for
Okay.
selling.
Gotcha. That's cool. So what do you think is one of the biggest hurdles that you came across as a business owner?
It's a lot of work. And before I actually started, and people would say you should do it as a business, I'd be like, no, that's too much work. It is. It really is. But I love it. And I think finding the balance. And I do best if I have orders. I do so much better if I have a schedule rather than just keeping it in my head and trying to remember everything I have to do and just running amok. So scheduling and balance are best for me. I think you keep learning. Every day I learn and I try to make it a little bit better. I'm working on marketing now. I know I told you my website was in the work. I am not a technical person, as you can probably tell. And I, for a year and a half, have dragged my feet on a website. And everybody says you have to have a website. And I know I've lost business because of it. So last weekend, I set aside time and I started it. And I couldn't work on it anymore. So I set it aside. And I had a friend call me this week. She started a consulting business and she said, I do this. I can help you. So she's helping me with it. So I'm hoping to have it up soon and it's going to be beautiful. And I'm so excited for that. So I think having a website will definitely help the business.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's been a little bit of a hurdle for me. And also finding time to do everything besides baking, finding the events to go to, finding out which ones are good events, which ones might not be a good fit for me. It's just, you're all over the board with it and every day is different.
Yeah, you wear a lot of hats.
Yes, yes.
Is this your full-time job? Do you have a day job, or is this your
I
full-time?
have a day job. I do have a day job. I am an office manager at a manufacturing company and I also do sales there.
Okay.
And then I do this, I fit this in. And the nice thing is because it's manufacturing and we're in Arizona, the hours are early. So
Mhm.
I'm usually home early enough to start baking in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
I'd
So
love for this to be my full-time job.
I'll bet you that a lot of your skills that you had from your day job probably transferred to some of what you do for the business. So that's really cool because a lot of business owners, I mean, your story is very similar to a lot of people that I talk to where um even myself, I started making blankets for people, and
Oh,
I
nice.
started as gifts, and that was back in 2007, and everybody said, oh, you should sell these, you should make these, and so then that turned into an Etsy shop, and so I
That's
started
fantastic.
making blankets and selling in my Etsy shop, and I had orders for people in Spain, I mean all over the place. It was really kind of cool. And then I realized later on that I just love working with businesses. And then someone actually kind of hit me over the head and said, why are you messing around with this stuff over here when you should be actually helping people with their money? so and it's always, it seems like it's always comes from other people outside of us a lot of times, where
Yes,
they see our potential, or they see the thing that we should be doing rather than what we're actually doing. So I was great at making blankets, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So I spent a lot of time doing that. And as the, as the business owner, when you get into a business like that, you're the technician, right? You're the person who's doing the thing that you're selling, or the service or whatever. And so you have to be the technician, you have to be the business owner, you have to be the marketer, you have to be the, the bookkeeper, and all of those things. And it just,
you're everything.
yeah, it takes so much time. And so then eventually, when you start looking at it, you have to figure out what's the most important thing to do. So that's, how that's like the natural flow of things. So it's
It
really
is.
interesting that's why I love talking to business owners, because I feel like we all have this, there's something in our head that just goes, oh yeah, it's like we can't sit still and we have other hobbies or something. So it's build a business. It's a hobby, right?
And this was a hobby. I love baking and I love cooking. And I just done it for so long just for my dogs. And I donated to different organizations if they were looking for, a raffle prize or something, but it wasn't a business. It was just my treat. And so many people had said you should start a business. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then it just clicked, and I kind of thought, why not? So when that event came up, I thought, this is do or die. I'm either going to have to get things done on a deadline, which is how I work best, or I'm 10 years from now, I'm still going to be sitting and thinking, maybe I should start a business. So it really is a good thing that that event came up. And I was afraid to even contact her because I thought, I don't have a name even. I don't have a logo. I have nothing. But it worked out really well. And it just really inspired me to keep going. And I love what I do. I love meeting people. I love meeting their dogs. I get to pet dogs everywhere I go. It's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet that's fun. And how do you stay organized? Since you do have a day job, how do you keep yourself organized? Do you have like certain tools that you use on, I know you said you're not very techy, but I know there's a lot of like CRM, product management software, stuff like that out there. Is there anything that you have that's like one of your favorites that you use, or anything like that?
I love notes on my phone, which sounds silly. And I didn't even know about it until about a year ago. Somebody told me they use it all the time. So I pull it up and I have little post-it notes in there for everything. And that helps me, especially, I think sometimes, and you probably know this as a business owners, things pop into your head at the strangest times.
Yes.
It's not always when you're sitting thinking about it. It'll be, you're at the grocery store or driving someplace or anywhere, and something will pop into your head, or somebody tells you an idea. I've gotten more ideas from people and I love it. In fact, the edible stick for my cake pops came from the founder of the rescue. And I thought, that is a great idea. And that's how I do it now. And I love it. And I think most places do use the sticks, which for dogs can be dangerous. But I use the notes to keep myself organized. I'm also old school. I'm a paper calendar and and a notebook and a list writer, because nothing gives me more satisfaction than crossing something off that list.
Right? I know. I always, I think that's one of my hardest things is I feel like I'm a little ADHD, and you said the same, like, yeah, you get ideas. It's usually when I'm driving or when I'm talking to someone else, and it's just, it's funny how that happens, because you'll be talking to somebody, it'll be a completely random topic, and then you'll have an idea for something and it just comes out of nowhere. But
Yes.
I feel like I struggle with being organized sometimes, because I do lean towards technology a lot, and I know that's where we're going. I try to do the paper stuff, and I wind up with a desk full of piles of papers and post-its and all that stuff. So I think I struggle with that the most, is trying to figure out how to be organized. Some of my favorite online applications I use is Asana. Asana is like a task list And it
I'll have to check
has,
that out.
so there's Trello and Asana. They're very similar. The reason I like Asana is because it's more of a task list, but you can put the task in, and then there's a whole page where it'd be like you type in the description of the task, and then you can have due dates and stuff like that. And I really like it, and it's free for small businesses. So if you're one person business, you never have to really worry about paying for stuff. And then you can shift the view. So you can have a list view where it's like a to-do list. And then, you can shift everything around. And then you can also have a calendar view and more of the Trello is like they call it a Kanban board. So Trello has like it's more of like your stuff's divided into different topics or something, or like
I love that.
want to do, here's what I'm working on, and here's what I've completed, and you can move stuff around. So it's kind of cool. But Asana, that's one of my favorites. And other than that, I feel like I've tried just about everything. So I typically use Google Calendar just to keep all of my calendar stuff organized, and that works really well. But sometimes it just doesn't have enough,
Yeah, I agree. And I always have a notebook with me, and thank God for notes though. So if I'm someplace where I don't have a work bag with my notebook and things, I can at least put it in notes and put it on paper later. And I've tried, I'm the opposite of you with the electronic calendar. I always seem to have a hurdle with that. So I still do the paper. I'm so old school with that, but
I
it
don't
works.
really have that much of a need for an electronic calendar though. Like for me, it's imperative in my business because I have people scheduling
Right.
appointments with me and stuff like that. So I kind of have to have everything connected. But if I didn't have that going on, it would be easier to just write stuff down, because then you're looking at it every day and it's not like, oh, I have to pull my calendar up, right?
It's
So
daunting when you don't do it.
yeah. So anyway, I thank you so much for talking to me today. I love talking to small business owners, and I think that I've definitely got to get out there and find some of your dog treats and get some for my
Yeah.
dog, because she's the sweetest little thing, and I feel like I ignore her a little too much.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a little miniature schnauzer.
Oh, my brother
Yeah.
has a Chanel. She's actually on my Instagram page.
Oh,
She is so sweet.
yeah, mine's sweet. I just don't, she doesn't do well in public or on walks or with other people, so I don't really take her anywhere, and I feel like she's a little isolated. But I mean, some dogs are meant to go travel and some just aren't. So I think,
Others aren't. Yes, I totally agree. And some are happy being home with their person.
yeah, and she is, I think for the most part, she is. She loves treats though, so I'll have to look into getting some of those for her and see. But when's the next time you'll be out at any kind of an event? Are you pretty much done for the summer now?
I am doing an event August 28th at Hair of the Dog. It's a bar in Mesa or Chandler. I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me. But it's not until the end of August.
Okay.
The summertime, most of them are outdoors and it's just so hot. If I can find any indoor events beforehand, I'll definitely do them. It's just harder to find those. They're
Okay.
few and far between. So until then, I'm marketing to businesses and working on that.
Okay.
And then
Where can people find you? Right now your website's not done, but Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook is Best Friends Barkery, and Instagram is best.friends.barkery. And we are also on TikTok as Best Friends Barkery.
Oh, cool. And then can people just order stuff from you, and do you ship or?
I will ship if somebody's in the area. I'll do drop off if it's close enough, or meet people halfway.
Okay.
Or I could leave a package at one of the locations where they sell my treats if that's convenient. I try to work with people to make it convenient for them. I don't want them to have to go out of their way.
Well, if you have a good enough treat, people will go out of their way. If their dogs love it enough, they will go out of their way. So definitely. I think you're not too far from me though. So, I'm sure we can work something out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you so much. And for everyone out there who's listening, definitely look up Best Friends Barkery on Facebook or Instagram. And if you would like to be a guest on the Next Level Awareness podcast, shoot me an email at nextlevelawarenesspodcast@gmail.com. Have a great one.